Before we head back to court, we want to bring in our guest, trial attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, thank you, of course, for joining us both. Tell us what you think of this particular hearing. It's a little bit, I feel like, putting the cat back in the bag to say, okay, court, we want a conditional release. Hey, wait, court, now we've realized additional information that means we really don't want that conditional release, or at least we don't recommend it.
This is the difficulty of the whole juvenile system, right? I know that she's 22 years old now, but what I thought about this hearing is, number one, I was very impressed with their attorney. That's excellent advocacy. Believe me, I've been in the juvenile court when I would do public defense cases, sometimes even retained cases. It's a very difficult court. That attorney was excellent. He shamed me. He was a much better attorney than I ever was in the juvenile court. I'm not too proud to admit it. So I thought he did a fantastic job. And when he brought up the whole importance of honesty in getting your release, but to be honest with you, Judge Ashley, I think she's going to be she's a danger to the community no matter how long they keep her in. I think a person with this type of a background and with this type of mental health, I think she's always a danger. So this is the difficulty for the judge is, let's be honest, like she's definitely a danger to redo an act like this, and she's already showing it, right? She can be as honest as she wants. She might leave there. We know many times people leave prison with violent crimes in their past. They commit the same violent crimes again. So I think she's always a risk. It's a difficult decision for the judge, but I don't know. You're going to lose either way. But what do? You keep her in custody, what, for another million years? What do you do? She was 12 when she did it. Maybe she's permanently flawed.
Look, Mike, she was supposed to be in jail for 40 years, so we're not even close to that maximum. So yeah, keep her in for a little longer. That's what I would say. But all right, Mike, stand by. We're going to head back to court now. All right, folks, we'll head back to court in just a moment, but first let's bring back in trial attorney Michael Jaafar to discuss. Michael, I want to get down to the nitty-gritty here, what this judge has to consider. I kind of got a sense of how you feel about this whole thing the last time we spoke to you, but the state basically must present clear and convincing evidence that the defendant, or Morgan Geyser, poses a substantial risk of harm to herself, others, or property. I agree. These things are red flags that should be considered, but I'm not sure it rises to that level such that she's a substantial risk to others. I'm not sure this shows that, or the case that I'm seeing put on shows that.
Which is why the judge initially decided in January to conditionally release her. But my point on this case is, and the challenge of these cases is, she's always a risk to reoffend. I don't think anything can happen when you do something like this at the age of 12. I understand we have the internet. I understand, but when you do that at the age of 12, you're always a risk to reoffend. There's nothing that the system can do. Listen, mental health professionals can help acclimate a person and educate them and understand them. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to be tough. There's just dangerous people that walk this earth. There's people who have never done this and then they do it, and they're always a risk to reoffend. So at the end of the day, yeah, does it rise to the level of substantial risk? I mean, the books that she was reading and the stuff that she has a very impressionable mind to the point where she would murder somebody because of what she saw in a book. How is a person like that ever? It's like you can't go into a shop and just pick a new brain off a shelf. That's the brain that you have for the rest of your life. It's a very complicated thing. I just think the judges, this is a tough decision. I would not, this is why I don't want to be a judge, Michael, because of decisions like this. This sucks.
Well, I have a judge sitting right next to me, but at the end of the day, when you think about what's going on here, she's been incarcerated since she's 13. So I would posit that at 22, she's a much more immature 22-year-old than someone who might have been walking around free.
And it all depends on what they've provided as services. But I will say, as a judge, I wouldn't want to hear things that would have been known when I issued the conditional release. I would want to know the now, the understanding of that, and I would have to rely on the evidence presented. So I'm hopeful they present a lot of evidence to support this petition if that's what they're really asking. On that note, stand by, Michael. We want to go back to court for more of the testimony in the hearing to revoke the conditional release of Morgan Geyser. Right now, a forensic mental health manager with DHS is on direct examination.